Hey guys and gals, it's Jim back here, and as I promised, I'm going to do several updates on this diorama, going over each different area and stuff like that. So for this one, I'm going to go over my ferns and my grassy vegetation and stuff. So that way I can keep the videos short and not really long and boring and stuff like that. So we'll start with this corner where I'm doing my little fern area and all that. I'm not going to clutter them all over the whole diorama. I got different areas going to have different growth and stuff like that. So as I said in a previous video, I picked up some fern plants at Walmart. That's basically what they look like and all that. And I'm just using the tips of them because, you know, the whole plant, it's, you know, this is just part of a plant. They were a lot bigger, but $1 a piece for plastic ferns, pretty cool. And they look pretty natural and stuff. So I picked these up, quite a while back when I saw them. And I said, oh, that's going to work out good for my AT-ST whenever I get around to doing a diorama. So that's what I'm doing. So basically, that's what it's turned out to look like. I'm just using the very tip, like the top inch and a quarter of them and stuff. I started out, I sprayed some with a Rust-Oleum leafy green, the darker ones you see there in the center of that clump. And they're a little darker than what I expected, so eventually I'll go in and dry brush some lighter highlights on them. But the rest of them I left natural, and to take away that plastic shiny look, I just been leaving them the natural color that they came from the store, and I've been spraying them with Tester's Dull Coat to take away that shine and everything. And you can kind of see they got a little bit of two-tone effect to them the further down you get too. So, but I think they look pretty cool as far as for ferns, for like you see in the different scenes, Endor scenes. There are a lot of ferns in the jungle area wherever they're at and stuff like that. So I'm pretty happy with the way they look. All I do is drill a little hole, pop them in there with a little dab of white glue on the tip of them, and boom, they're good to go. And I'm trying to turn them different directions, you know, so they don't look like they're all uniform and stuff like that. So a couple of them I left a little bit longer, some will probably go a little shorter, and I'll probably carry my fern area all the way up into this front corner here too, and that'll pretty much do the ferns for the diorama and stuff. So, and like I said, as you can see, I got my tree blended in and everything with the ground and stuff. There's a better shot. I got that little fine vine running up the side, the tree trunk and everything. You can kind of more or less see that little mossy effect I did on the tree as far as my dead growth and stuff. And you go further up, I put some dead limbs here and there to give it a little bit more realism and stuff like that. And there was one time when I was doing model railroading, I built a big Victorian building. It was a craftsman kit, and to be different, I used to buy little sets of HO figures, but they were more expensive. They weren't the little cheap chintzy plastic ones that I used to get with the structures. And I did find a naked lady in this big Victorian building I did. It was like a 3-story building, and on the second and third floor, it had like a bay window on the corner of the building, like you see in a lot of older towns or downtown areas. So I had to pick that set of people up, and I stuck the naked lady in the window so everybody could see her looking out the window and stuff, like she was flashing everybody. I do little goofy things like that, always something to add interest to a model. And that. Little bit before I get to the next area in this video, this isn't a canon to any particular scene in the Star Wars movie with the Endor battle. It just conveys a sense of, you know, it's where it took place with the big pine trees and all that, and the ferns and stuff like that. I did the cave because someplace, you know, the Ewoks, you know, people came running, they came out of a cave or something like that, a hideout. So I decided I was going to do the cave in the hillside. It might not be canon to the movie, but someplace in that wooded area, there was probably some sort of cave, some hills, some rock formations, cliffs, things like that. So that's the reason why I did a cave and everything. And you know, it still does fit the diorama and stuff. So that's the purpose I did it and everything though. So I got my lights setting off to the side here, so Just wanted to highlight some of the areas that I got done. We'll zoom in real quick. That's what I was talking about, that tree there. It's on the side of that. It's like coming out the side of a hill, and the other side was down to the ground level. So that's why I decided I did the tree roots to give it a sense of more realism. Like, you know, it's growing out of a hill, but the hillside stops, so the roots got someplace. They got to go someplace and all that. There's not enough earth to cover them. So that's my little tree trunk, my big sequoia or whatever you want to call them, with the tree roots exposed and everything. So I thought that added a little bit better realism. And there's BB-8. He's been checking out the forest big time the last couple days. Actually, that's the 1/72nd scale. It's not the same scale as this model. That's the 1/72nd for my Blue Squadron X-Wing that I'm waiting to do the water diorama on. It's finally starting to completely get dried and everything like that. That's my little water effect. I just used the gloss, super gloss Mod Podge, which is like really thick. It's not like the watery one like the regular Mod Podge, but it's super thick and everything. Okay, so now let's get down to my grasses. You can see I got a short one there off the side of the little water puddle, and I got some taller ones in the foreground. I make those. I used to make them many years ago when I did model railroading too. You can make any size you want. I use these cheap old 50-cent paintbrushes. I take and what I do is I got on hand. I got a can of Rust-Oleum Leafy Green. So what I do is I kind of spread the bristles out, spread them out a little bit from what they are all clumped together, and I spray the bristles from above, from the sides, just real light mist coats and everything. Let it dry for a day though, because they'll be real sticky. And then all I do is I'll take and I'll grab a bunch, get them in my finger, and I'll use my side cutters and clip them off the length I want them. And what I do is I use that super gloss Mod Podge because it's real thick and it dries pretty quick, and it holds, if you want to hold something upright, it holds stuff in position while it's drying. So what I do is I like I said, I take a clump, grab them with my fingers, cut them off. I turn the bottom side. I take a toothpick and I work the Mod Podge into the whole bottom of the clump so they all bind together. And I can place them on the ground. They'll stay in an upright position, and while it's set, and you can see it's pretty strong there, but it looks natural, like tall grasses. Don't worry if you got some of the natural color bristles, because sometimes you see tall grasses in different areas, and the bottoms are lighter, more like a yellow whitish color than the tops the green, because they're not getting as much sun down at the bottom. And also, if you want to do, like, say you want to do dead grasses, you could do the same thing. Just don't paint the brush. Just, you know, cut clumps off and stick around like a dried wheat field or something like that, you know. But it does look realistic. And then that one I got a real short. I'll be doing a bunch of them grassy clumps all throughout the diorama and stuff. Up a little bit up on the hillside, bunch down there and stuff, you know. It's just make it as real as possible. And that's the thing. And in the previous video, now 2 videos ago, like I said, I blended in the trees so they look like they're really, you know, they serve a purpose. They're natural looking. And then not just something, a hole drilled into the ground cover and stick a stick in there and it's a tree. You got a tree plant. You want to make everything blend in like look as real as possible. But another thing and if you want to see what it looked like before this shot or the previous video when I was showing a little tour of the diorama, you can go back a couple of videos and it'll show what the trees look like if you don't do no work like that to blend them in and just leave them as is. It doesn't look realistic at all. Another thing I'm doing like all these little mini scenes, it's like you want the model is going to be the focal point of the diorama. But, you know, I know from experience and all that, all this added little detail, different little mini scenes, it's going to take the viewer to look at the model, but they'll see all the other little detail work all around it and everything, and it's going to take their eyes all around like going on a tour. they're gonna look up the side here with the tree, the little water effect, the tree roots sticking out of the ground. Then they're gonna go up the rock work, the cave, and all that. They'll go down that hill, come along to this side with the two trees there, and then they'll come up to the front with the ferns and everything. And then it's gonna draw their. They're not going to know where to look. There's going to be so many things to look at. And the reason I'm doing these videos without the model mounted, well, first off, I don't want to have the model in the way because I'm doing a lot of work on the base yet. But at the same time, it's easier to do these videos because when I put the big model in there, a lot of this stuff's going to be hard to get pictures and film and everything. But so far, that's what she's looking like, and I think the grasses are looking good. I think the ferns are coming out just what I expected. Like I said, I'll probably dry brush those darker ones to lighten them up a bit and stuff. All that. I mean, it's good to have a little variety of color, but that's a little bit too much of a contrast for me, and all that. There you can see, like I said, the better shot with the mosses and stuff like that. I got my dead branches down at the bottom. If you see trees in nature, big tall, pines or ponderosas and stuff like this, usually you get the dead branches at the bottom because they're not getting as much sunlight as the rest of the tree. The top of it, usually the top's going to be more fuller. Same back here. I got some dead twigs growing. You always see, like in the forest and stuff, smaller trees towards the ground. You'll have a lot more dead stuff that's shorter, closer to the ground because the taller trees block out the sunlight and everything, so they don't get the sunlight like they should. But so far, I think this is coming out. Pardon my language, but this is coming out pretty ass kicking, I must say. And I'm not getting an attitude or nothing like that about myself, but like I said in the previous video, I think I'm even outdoing myself and stuff. But like I said, I wanted to do this diorama really super detailed to look as real as possible. I mean, I do the same with all my models and dioramas, but I want this one really to pop and stand above the rest of them and stuff. And it's just that type of model where you need to have the surrounding scenery look real to give you the impression that you're really looking at something that might be in real life and stuff like that. So another little ground level shot and everything and all that, and I think that looks pretty tough. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this, seeing what some of my different techniques of doing stuff. You don't have to spend a lot of money on hobby stuff, hobby type, what stuff. Just items from the store, plastic plants, dried up tree roots, stuff like that. Paintbrushes to make grasses and stuff like that. It's all, it's just use your imagination. You let your imagination go wild. That's what I'm doing with this. I never did the tree moss up the trees. I always blended in my tree bases on all my model railroad layouts and different dioramas I've done through the years. But I decided, to make them look more real and everything, they need some, moss or algae type stuff growing up the sides. You see that in nature and stuff, And on something like this, the more you add, it doesn't hurt to clutter things up. You go out in a wooded area and sometimes the brush is so thick you can't even walk down the paths and everything. So, and if you watch the movie, there's a lot of clutter and growth and stuff in the wooded areas and stuff. And also there's different type of plant life in the wooded area. It might be whatever you want to call these sequoias or ponderosas or redwoods, but there's other growth besides just the big trees. There's smaller trees which I'm making out of the roots. I just brush some white glue over the fine roots and everything, and then I sprinkle ground foam on them and stuff. Same thing I'm using for my ground cover. And I got another one back in the corner. Like I said, I'll be doing more updates on the trees and the top of the hill, all the different stuff I got. I got a lot of dead growth and everything, a lot of little limbs, different size limbs glued to the ground, my rock work and everything. So I'll be doing a few more update videos before I get to the finished model. And I decided I'll probably take this out someplace in a natural looking area and do my finished model diorama and in the outdoors with natural sunlight. I think that'll make all the colors pop, all the details show up better. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to look like finished up. I mean, I got a picture in my mind what I wanted it to turn out like, and I think it's turning out a lot better with some of the things that I've done, you know, to make it look more natural. So anyway, that's it for this update. So till the next time, thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks to all my new subscribers. Thanks for leaving all the great comments you guys been leaving me. Thanks for hitting the like button. Hope you guys are doing well. You and your family stay safe and healthy. And we'll talk to you soon with another update on a different area of this diorama. Till the next time, bye.